Hey everyone, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to model this building. Now you can support the channel and download all the source files from the Patreon page. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. So without further ado, let's start. So I will start by going to the perspective view, so double click to maximize the perspective view, and I'm going to here to the layers and I'm going to create a new layer and let's name it design. And I'm going to add a few more sublayers. And the first one I'm going to rename it mass and double click to select it. And for our mass, I'm going to use 3-point box. So I'm going to click here, and choose 3-point box. So the base of the building is going to be around 30 meters by 25, or maybe 20. And the floor to floor height is going to be 3.5. Now I'm going to hold Ctrl Shift and let's come here and choose duplicate border to extract this curve. And I'm going to create an offset, so type offset and create an offset with a value of maybe 2 meters. Now we can delete this curve, select this one and extrude it using this circle. If you are using Rhino 7, you can just use extrude command, but I'm using Rhino 8, so I'm going to extrude using the gimbal. And type the value 3.5. And I'm going to select this one and come here and choose linear array. So I'm going to create like 3 floors or maybe 4, so type 4, enter, close the project, select this point and this point. So this is going to be the mass of our building. Okay, now let's create our floor. So I'm going to create a new layer, or let's rename one of these layers. Let's name it CRV. Let's give it red color for curves, and let's create a new layer and let's name it floor and select the curve layer. First, I'm going to select all these all the surfaces and let's join all of them together using Boolean union. So we have one mass, and I'm going to select the curve layer and I'm going to use contour. So type contour, select this face and press F8 to open the ortho and snap in the direction. And set the spacing 3.5 and press enter. Now I'm going to isolate everything to see only the curves. I'm going to delete this one, select all these curves, select the floor layer. And let's extrude it down using the gimbal, using this circle, and extrude it down with a value of 0.3. So we have our flows. And let's show the mass again. So there is the curves, this is the mass, and this is the flows. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on designing the facade. So I'm going to name this layer facade design, and I'm going to add a few sublayers to it. And the first one I'm going to name it CRV also for curves, but for this one I'm going to give it a blue color. And for this one we're going to have 2 types of facade, curtain wall and the perforated skin and a solid wall. So let's name this one solid wall and let's name this one curtain wall. And inside the curtain wall I'm going to add 2 sublayers. The first one I'm going to name it mullions for the curtain wall structure, and the second one is going to be glass. I'm going to give this one a cyan color and this one a dark gray. And for the solid wall, I'm going to give it some kind of off-white color. And for this one, I'm going to name it perforated skin, and I'm going to add to it few sublayers. The first one is going to be skin. Name it skin. It's going to be for the metallic sheets, the perforated metallic sheets. And the second one, I'm going to name it substructure. So it's going to hold this these perforated sheets to the concrete structure. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to select the curve layer and I'm going to select all of this anti-block because I don't want to move anything of this. And then I'm going to select the curves layer. So I want to design the module or know the module of the facade design. So I'm going to choose polyline from here and draw maybe a line here. Right click to finish the command and right click to bring the command again and draw a line here. And I'm going to use curve array or array curve, type array curve, or you can find it here, array curve. So select object to array, select this curve, right click and select the path. So the distance is going to be around 1 meter. No, around 1 meter is too small, maybe 2 meters. Yeah, 2 meters looks reasonable, but maybe 2.5. Maybe set the number to 14. Okay, yeah, let's set the number to 15. Right click. So this is going to be like our module that we're going to use for designing the facade. So I'm going to select the perforated scale layer. I'm going to create a rectangular plane using 3-point from here to here. I'm going to select this one and let's make it a block. So snap to the midpoint and let's name it F1. And let's repeat it along the whole facade. But let's start with this one. So I'm going to use linear array. This one we set the number to maybe 14. So type 14 from this point to this point. So yeah, here we go. We have our models that we're going to start adding detail to it right now. Okay, so I will start by selecting by double click on one of these blocks to edit it, and I'm going to isolate it. And let's start drawing curves. So double click to minimize the view and double click to maximize the front view. And I'm going to open auto C plane and I'm going to select this one to create a plane on it. And let's right click and set stick auto C plane. And I'm going to start maybe by drawing a curve like this. Press F8 to close the ortho. So I'm going to draw something maybe here like this. Some kind of a polyline or something. Maybe starting with something like this. Select this one, align to C plane, move this away a little bit. Like this one. And select this one and moving it here. You know what? Let's keep it like this. Maybe moving this up a little bit. Select all these curves, press F10, and start doing some refinements. Maybe having another one like this. Using right click to bring the command again. Hold Control to select the surface, select the curve, press F10. Start moving the curves a little bit, maybe something like this. You know what? I'm going to hold Control Shift and select these curves, press Delete, Control Shift, select these curves, press Delete. I'm going to create a mirror of this one. So type mirror, create a mirror, press F8, select all of this to scale in one direction, scale it something like this. Now select all the curves only, hold Control to select this one, press F8, and start maybe moving these things a little bit to break some symmetry. Moving this like this, moving it up a little bit, it's down, down, maybe up. Maybe also hold Control Shift, delete this one, select the curves, press Control, press F8, select this point and move it here. Maybe this looks okay. So I'm going to use these curves to split the surface. So I'm going first to hide curves, type split, select the surface to split, right click, and now select the curves and then right click. So we have this kind of triangle. So double click to minimize the view and double click to maximize this view. So I don't want the curve anymore. So I'm going to select type SEL CRV to select the curves and press delete. I'm going to select all these curves and press Ctrl G to join everything. Now I'm going to use a command called solid point on. You can find this command in the transform tab, which is not in the transform, the solid, which is this one. Start the solid point on. So we can now select this point. So select this one, hold shift to select this one too, and move it away like this a little bit. So have this kind of 3D triangles. And create some variation. So we can move this up a little bit more. This, move this down inside, and press OK. Switch to the archaic mode. So we have our facade, but I think it's too rough. So double click to this one. Let's show the remaining facade. Type it solid point on. So this one, hold shift, select this one, and move them a little bit. It's not too rough. Now we can start making variations. So I'm going to select this one and let's scale it by -1. Maybe selecting this one and scale it by -1. Let's close auto C plane. Select this. Let's close the auto C plane. Okay, so I'm going to close auto C plane and let's come here and set back the C plane top. So I will start by mirroring and scaling this block so we have some kind of variations. They are going to be the same, but I'm going to just mirror. So I'm going to mirror this one, scale by -1, and mirror this like scale by -1, but in the direction. Maybe scaling this one too. Scale by -1, scale by -1, select this one, scale by -1, this one, scale by -1, and this scale by -1 like this. Maybe this one too. Shortcut mode. So yeah, we start to have like some kind of more variation, and this starts to look better. Okay, so I will start now by repeating this model along the whole facade. So I'm going first to the curve layer and I'm going to hide it. I'm going to select all of this and type mirror, set copy to yes, and let's snap here to the midpoint, or make sure the midpoint snaps open. So snap here to the midpoint and create a copy here. Now I'm going to keep selecting all of this and hold Alt and move using the gum to create a copy, then rotate it to 90 degree. I'm going to close all of the recorders for now. Select all of this, choose move it from here to here, and delete a few extra blocks. Now double click to minimize the view and double click to maximize the top view. Select all of this. Let's open the project. Let's come here and choose scale one direction, and let's come here and scale it something like this. Now type mirror, snap to the midpoint here and create a copy here. So we have our facade along the whole building. So switch to the architect mode to see how it look. So yeah, this starts to look good actually. Now I'll start adding the more details to it. But by the way, I think we need to stretch it up a little bit for the parapet. So double click to edit it and hold Control Shift, select this, and move it up maybe by a value of 1 meter to cover the parapet part. Since we did some mirror here and there, as you can see, they are not all the same. However, this actually looks good. It doesn't look bad. Like this makes it look like more dynamic. So let's keep it. And for the parapet, we can just double click and here select the solid wall and maybe creating just draw maybe a rectangle from here, create an offset with a value of 0.25. Select this one and hold shift to select these two curves. Let's come here and create surface from planar curves, delete the curve, select the surface and extrude it with a value of maybe 1 meter. So we have the parapet and our skin. And for the skin, I'm going to double click to edit it. And let's move it out like this with a value of 0.2 to have some space for the substructure, maybe even 0.3. And now let's come here to the perforated skin, select the skin layer. And by the way, for this one, I'm going to place it in the skin layer. And let's hold Control Shift, or not holding Control, yeah, hold Control Shift, this one, and this edge, and extrude them with a value of 0.3 using the gimbal. So we have these edges, it's okay. Switch to architect mode again. Yeah, this starts to look better. You know what? Let's move this down back again. I don't think we need this. So double click, hold Control Shift, select this one, and let's move it down with a value of 1 meter. And we can just keep the parapet something like this. It doesn't look bad, by the way. Anyway, so now I need to start adding material to this one. So double click. Let's isolate everything. So for that perforated skin, I'm not going to create some actual opening on this surface because it's going to make the file size huge. So instead, I'm going to use PNG texture that contains this type of opening. And if you don't have this type of texture, you can just create it. And I will show you the both ways. So the first thing is we need to create some kind of offset here. So I'm going to use insert face edge. So select insert face edge, select the face, right click and set the distance 0.05 and press enter. So we have this face. So this one is going to be for the structure and this one is going to be for the perforated skin. So right click to bring the command again, select this one, right click. So I'm going to use right click to repeat the command along the remaining faces. So now I'm going to come here and choose extract surface. So I'm going to set copy to no. I'm going to extract all these surfaces because these are the parts that are going to be perforated, and press Ctrl G to make all of them in one group. This one is going to be for the structure. And yeah, let's hold shift and join this part too. Press Ctrl G to join all everything and join it with this one too. Select this and press Ctrl J. So double click to select the substructure layer, select this, and let's give the substructure layer maybe different color, some kind of blue or something. And let's place all of this in the substructure layer. It starts to look better. So now I want to add thickness to this one, and the first thing I think about trying is offset surface. So let's try offset surface. So type offset surface. Let's all and set the distance 0.0. Set the distance 0.05. Press enter. Press enter again, and actually work. It looks good. Switch to architect mode maybe, or maybe render. Why it's open? There is some problems here and there too. So press Ctrl Z for now. So I'm going to remove these faces. This faces did this problem. Set copy to no, join them. Let's create the offset surface for this part only. So offset surface, flip all, set distance 0.05, corner sharp. And let's see how it looks. First, it's closed poly surface, which is good. And it doesn't look bad actually. So it's okay. For this one, I'm going to get an offset surface for it alone. Flip all, set distance 0.05. And here we go. So we have our substructure, and these are for the perforated skin. So I'm now remaining applying texture. So yeah, until now everything looks okay. Okay, so for the perforated skin as a texture, there are two ways to do it. The first one is to just open the internet and search for seamless perforated skin texture, and you will manage to find a lot of seamless textures. I usually use SketchUp Club. It contains a lot of good textures, and it's very affordable. So this is the first method. You can download it and you will find a PNG textures. And if it doesn't contain PNG, you can use Photoshop to convert it into a PNG and remove the black parts to make it a void. So this is like the first method. And the second method is to create it yourself. So I'll show you how to create it. So let's switch to the shaded view, double click to minimize the view, and double click to maximize top view. So I'm going to layers and I'm going to create a new layer and let's name it texture. Let's name it perforated texture, and let's select it. So I'll start by, let's say for example we want the opening to be in the shape of a circle. So I'm going to create a circle with any size. I'm going to set it maybe 1, and I'm going to use rectangular array. So select it and set the number maybe 20 by 20, and in the Z keep it as 1. So let's come here and set the distance. So you can set like the distance. So if you press F8, it's going to keep it equally distributed. If you press F8, close the ortho, you can adjust the distance like this. But I want to be equally distributed. So set it something maybe, you know what? Let's use a spacing. Let's set 10 and 10, and let's make it something maybe like this. So here is the spacing in Y and X. We can change it. So let's set maybe -2, and this maybe -2. So here's our spacing. Now I'm going to select all of this and type bounding box. Select all of this and type bounding box. So you have this bounding rectangle. Now, to make sure it's seamless, I'm going to draw a reference line here. And so the distance from here to here is around 1.5. So I'm going to create an offset, type offset, the value of 1.5. So this is like in the middle. And delete this one, delete this rectangle, and delete all these extra curves. So now we want to export this one, these curves as a PDF or as a JPG. So I'm going to type Control P for print, type window, type window, and let's draw maybe a window like this. So here for the line width, right now the default line width is hairline, which is too small. So we can set maybe 0.01, 0.013, and press OK. Let's print it anywhere. Printed anywhere, and let's name it whatever. So now let's open Photoshop. And let's drag and drop it in the Photoshop. And let's draw get from here a reference line here, reference line here, and here. You know what? Instead of placing this reference line, you can just come here in the magic tool and select open contiguous and select this area. Let's create a solid fill. Give it maybe whatever, maybe some kind of gray color. Hold Control and select the mask, and let's come here to crop. Press Enter and hide this one. And we can save this as a PNG, and this is going to be our texture. Let's save it as a PNG, and let's save it skin texture 1. Save as PNG. It's okay. So now if we double click to minimize the view, and if we came, let's create maybe a simple plane. Switch to the render view. If I came here, select this one, and let's come here and create a new texture. Let's come here and create a new texture. Let's choose custom, and let's name it perforated skin. And let's give it a color. C and Control V, and here is our texture. Let's place it. As you can see, it's transparent. Move it like this. As you can see, you can see behind it. And you can adjust the texture mapping from here. Select this one and choose the texture mapping to box style and adjust the size, maybe 4 meter, maybe 2. So here you go, we have our skin. And of course, you can reduce this one to maybe 5% or something and give it maybe some kind of red color, but it's going to maintain the transparency if you want to change its color. And of course, we can repeat this technique using any shape. Instead of circles, you can use it using triangles, squares, or any type of shape. But just make sure the spacing here is going to be the half the spacing here in the middle to make sure it's seamless. So yeah, let's apply this texture. So double click here and choose select shift, switch to the shaded view. Select this one, hold shift to select multi faces at the same time. Switch to the render view. Let's come here. You know what? Let's apply texture by layer. So in the skin. So all these parts are in the skin layer. So I can come here and select object. Let's click on this circle and let's apply the perforated skin texture. It's okay. As you can see, so openings are too large, and also this is not the color that I want. So the color, I'm going to make it something like this. It's okay. So click here, and in the size, let's make it maybe 1, maybe 0.5, maybe 0.75. Yeah, 0.75 looks okay. So press OK. And here is select to 0. You just want to maintain the transparency. Or you can just load it, by the way, here in the transparency map. So for this, I'm going to apply the same color. So I'm going to double click to select this number, as I'm going to paste it in the material for the substructure. So let's come here and choose custom, then substructure one, and in the color, let's come here and press Ctrl V, give it the same color as the perforated skin. And press OK. So here you go. We have our perforated skin. Now, of course, you know how if we want to create any different pattern, we can just change using the same technique to create different texture with different pattern. Okay, now let's start working on modeling the curtain wall. So I'm going to switch to the shaded view, and I'm going to hide the perforated skin for now from here. Select the curtain wall layer and hide this one. And let's show these curves because we're going to use the same module to create the curtain wall. But I think I need to offset all these slabs inside a little bit. But let's start creating the curtain wall first. So I will start by creating a mullion. So let's come here and a 3-point box. Snap to this point. Let's set the width to 0.1 and the length to 0.2 and the height, set it like the whole building. And let's select it and move it, snap it to the midpoint here. So it's like the midpoint is in this line. And let's now create a transom. So in the same model layer, I'm going to create another profile, snap here in the intersection, and set the length to 0.15 and the width to here. And the thickness 0.1 maybe, 0.08, something like this. Choose move vertical and move it down like this. And I think I'm going to need another mullion here in the middle. So select it, choose copy, snap to the midpoint, press tab to fix the movement in this direction, and snap here to the midpoint too. Create a Boolean difference, If this one, right click, select this one. So I have it something like this. Now let's create select the class layer, type loft, select this edge and this edge, right click, to bring the command again, select this edge, right click, select these two surfaces, snap here to the midpoint, type offset surface to add a thickness to it, set both sides, set it to 0.01, press enter. So you have our panels. I'm going to make this part a block, so select it and maybe not this part, delete this one. I'm going to make this one, to select all of this, and I'm going to define a block and snap here to the midpoint, and let's name it B1 for panel 1. You can select it and type mirror, create a copy like this, and I'm going to delete this one too, and I'm going to create this mullion as a block also in case we want to change the profile. So snap to the midpoint and create it M1 or mullion 1, select it, create a copy, press tab to fix the movement in this direction and create a copy here. Okay, now for this one, I'm going to select this one and this one and create a copy, vertical, and let's move it something like this. So I'm going to select all these two again, and I'm going to choose linear array, and set the number to 4, and from this point to this point. So it looks okay except for the top part. Okay, so for the top part, I'm just going to scale it in one direction for now. So it should scale in one direction. Or you know what? Let's select this and type make unique. Now double click, show everything, hold Ctrl Shift, select this, type move, press V for vertical and move it up to be something like this. Now we can select all of this. Let's look the curves, select all of this, and let's define a block and let's name it module 1. Let's name it C1 for curtain wall 1. And now I can repeat this along the whole facade. So I'm going to select it, copy linear array, type the number 14 from here to here. There's something wrong. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so select it. I need to create a copy. Let's select this one, Control C, Control V, and choose move. Press tab to fix a movement in this direction and snap here. So we need to shift this part. So double click, select all of these mullions. Let's go to the top view, scale here, select all of this, choose a scale in one direction, open the project, scale from here to here. Yeah, now it should fit nicely. Okay, so there is another problem which we have like a duplicate transom here. So we need just to edit one of these blocks. So double click to edit this one and delete maybe the one in the base. But before doing so, I'm going to here, and instead of deleting it, I'm going to select it and press Control C or Control X and then okay, then Control V. Select this one and type mirror, copy, snap to the midpoint here. So now there is no duplicate transom except here too. So for this one, I'm going to double click to edit, select this one and delete. So, okay, so now we don't have any duplicate transoms. Okay, delete this one, select all of this, choose linear array, set the number to 14, right click, close the project from here to here. Yeah, perfect. Fit perfectly. Double click, select this one, Control C, Control V, press tab to fix a movement in this direction, place it here. Now I can just select all this curtain wall, create a mirror, set copy to yes, snap here to the midpoint, create a copy here. Now select all of this, hold Alt, create a copy, rotate it something like this. Let's double click now as you open the project, and let's place it something in here. Delete any extra parts. Okay. Now select all of this. Choose scale in one direction from here to here. Now again, mirror, set copy yes, snap to the midpoint, and get a copy like this. So we almost have all our curtain wall. By the way, now if we view the perforated skin, so let's choose the perforated skin. So there's going to be, as you can see, there's going to be some kind of overlap. And we can just, like this spacing is 0.2. So I can just select all of these blocks and move it away like 0.2, or I can double click here and select all of this. I'm going to move the object inside the block by a value of 0.2 to the outside. So now we don't have any overlap. And everything fits nicely. Let's hide the perforated skin for now. I'm going to apply a texture for the curtain wall. So switch to render view. Let's click here in the circle and let's create a new custom material. Let's name it glass 1. Let's give it some kind of dark blue color, add some transparency, some reflection, and some glossiness, and press OK. And now for the mullions, I'm going to create another custom material. Let's name it mullions, and let's give it maybe a dark gray color, reflection 5, and glossiness of 5. It's OK. By the way, I can hide the mask for now. Let's give a texture for the floors too. Floor 1. I'm going to give it a light gray color, and that's it. And for the solid wall 2, custom material, let's name it wall paint 1. Also, I'm going to give it some kind of light gray color. Remains the curtain wall for the base, so I'm going to choose the mask again. I'm just going to select one of these blocks. Let's come here. I'm going to select one of these blocks, create a copy, And let's here and place it something like this. And let's type make unique. Now double click to edit it, isolate everything. I'm going to delete all of this. I'm going to select this one. Let's scale, but first let's show the remaining object. Select these two blocks, scale in one direction from this point to, let's switch to the ghost mode from this point down to this point. And for these two blocks, I'm going to select both of them. So hold shift to select both of them and type make unique. So now let's use the remaining object, double click. Let's view the mullion, hold control shift to select this part, type move, press T for vertical, and move it down something like this. So, okay. So we have our block. Now let's repeat it. So choose, let's go to the top view, double click, minimize, double click to maximize the view, open the project, choose linear array, set the number to maybe also 14, and from here to here, delete this one, and maybe for this one I'm going to explode it, explode this block, delete this one. Now select all of this and choose a scale in one direction, open the project, scale it from here, snap here to the midpoint to here. Now type mirror, snap to the midpoint, hit the copy here. Now select a few blocks, maybe like this, hold Alt, hit the copy, rotate it, use move, snap to the midpoint. Let's place it something like this. Maybe just place it something like this. Delete the extra blocks. For this one, I'm going to explode it also. Delete this one, and this one. Now select all of this. Choose a scale in one direction from here to here. Now type mirror. Set copy to yes, snap to midpoint, and hit a mirror here. And let's view our perforated skin. Let's delete this. Let's hide this object and switch to the render view. And here you go. Let's hide the curves too and the mask layer. And there you go. We have our design. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you later.